Hey guys, today I'm filming a chit chat get ready with me using all the items from my current fall project pan. If you guys have not seen my intro, I'll have my playlist linked up in the cards. My first update should be coming very soon. I love filming chit chat get ready with me's for all of my different project pans to show you these items in action and my go-to look using all or most of the products. This is a full face video, so it usually is a little bit longer. I will have all of the products listed down below in the description box. I will also be including a couple items from my current Halloween project pan. I've just been incorporating all the products to try to get use out of all of them. My first products would be the two Pixi setting sprays in my Halloween project pan. I have the Glow Mist and the Makeup Fixing Mist. I was using the Glow Mist as a primer spray and the Fixing Mist as a setting spray, but I really want to use these up. I'm just tired of using them. I have other setting sprays to use, so I've decided I'm going to start doubling up on these and using them both as primer spray and setting spray. So starting with the Glow Mist, and this one has a really fine mist. And then the Makeup Fixing Mist, which sprays out a little bit more intense. For primer, I'll be using something from my fall project pan. This is the NARS Pore and Shine Control Primer. This is something that I apply all over, and this has a thicker, more lotiony slash silicone consistency, so just mixing that up between my fingers and applying it to my skin. This primer is weird. I wondered if it was expired, but it says it has a 24-month shelf life and I've only had it for 12 months, so I feel like it shouldn't be. But the reason I'm saying that is because when I rub it into my skin, I can feel the little bits, and I thought, okay, maybe it's just not working with my moisturizer or the mist that I'm using, but I've tried it with other products and it does the same thing. The only time I didn't have the product, it's not even balling up on me, I can just like feel the particles. The only time that didn't happen was one day I had let all of my skincare products soak in for a couple hours before I did my makeup, and I never have the time to do that. So I don't know, that's kind of weird, and for that reason alone I wouldn't repurchase this primer. But other than that, it is a pretty easily spreadable consistency. Then I'll be using the CoverFx blurring primer in my large pores. Now I still love the Dr. Brandt Pores No More, but this one is really good as well. It's a little thicker like the Smashbox Photo Finish Pore Minimizing Primer, but it doesn't seem as drying, so this might work better for more skin types. So just pressing that into my large pores and smoothing over towards the outside of my face. For foundation, I'm using the Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte in the shade Snow. It started off that I was just wanting to use this for a month and then rotate through my other foundations, and then I decided I want to continue using this until December when I start using my winter project pan items. And I think that I've used about half of this, maybe a little more than half. It feels like I'm all the way down here, so I want to get a little bit more use out of this, and then I would like to put this in my makeup use up for 2019 and finish it up next year. But you have a ton of product in here. You have 1.6 fluid ounces, so I want to get a head start on this one. So I'm going to take a full pump here on my mixing palette. This shade is a little dark and peachy for me. They have since released the shade Swan, which would be my perfect match, but when they originally released this foundation they didn't have that shade. Then taking the Hard Candy Glamoflague foundation in Porcelain, just a small amount of this. And I told you guys in some video that I was worried this was being discontinued. It's not. They're repackaging it. Now it has that big doe foot applicator like the Tarte Shape Tape, which sucks. I don't like that for mixing purposes. Just apply it to my face, that'd be fine. So that kind of stinks, and I think they're changing the shade range, so hopefully there will still be a really fair yellow tone shade like this one, but I'm just happy that they're not getting rid of it. So I'm just going to mix this with my finger, apply it to my skin, and it's okay if this is looking a little light because my powders are a little dark, so that should make it match pretty good using my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. So I thought this was one of my top 3 all-time favorite foundations, but the more I'm using it, the more I'm realizing the flaws in it. So this does a really good job of mattifying, and the shade Swan is a great match for me. But this is a medium coverage foundation, not even a high medium, and I am not really able to get this to build upon itself. I find that with my sponge, if I really work it too much, the product lifts off of my face, and it is very specific to this foundation, so that's really frustrating. I do try to go in with a little bit more product on my cheeks to build up the coverage, but it doesn't really work that well. So that is a huge bummer, because otherwise this would be a great foundation, but I just prefer more coverage. Right now, I would say this is not something I would repurchase, but we'll see if I change my mind by the time I finish it up. But it's kind of disappointing because I thought this one was going to be so great and good, but definitely not perfect. But it does blend out easily into the skin. I just wish it was buildable. So right now we're looking a little ghostly, but it will even out with powder. And I'm gonna go in with another Project Pan item. This is my ColourPop No Filter Concealer. This is the shade Light 10. And I wish they had a fair shade with this strong of a yellow undertone, because this color is perfect for me before it oxidizes. So I am trying to just scrape around the edges here, and I've actually been applying this on my cheeks to help give more coverage, and it works so well. This concealer is great for under eyes and blemishes, but I actually like it best to add more coverage on my cheeks. The foundation doesn't build up well on itself, but this goes over top of that foundation so perfectly to give some really good coverage. And I'm getting the last application out today, so there's a little sneak peek for my Project Pan. I've literally had this sitting to the side for about a week waiting for this video so I could demo it for you guys. But what I've been using within that past week is the shade Fair 8, which is just one shade down from the one in my project, just using this in the same way, and it's working really nicely as well. So just gonna pat this into my skin with the sponge. This formula is so easy to blend out. I did film an entire review on the ColourPop Complexion products, which I'll link in the cards. Basically, I didn't really love anything except this concealer, which is a real shame. And then just whatever I have left in a sponge, take it through the rest of my face. I'm not sure if you guys can see right here, the sponge marks that I have. So I just press over them. I'm telling you, this foundation, you just can't work it too much or it will do that with a sponge. Then taking my Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer in the shade Extra Light, I'm going to apply this on my blemishes, which are really hard to see right now in this mirror, but I know I have really got quite a few right now. And then I'm also gonna take a little of this under my eyes. Then I'm going to take the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair and apply that under my eyes as well, and the center of my face. So as you guys noticed last month in a lot of my videos, my under eyes were looking really bright when I was using the Shape Tape on its own, so I've been mixing in the Estee Lauder and it's helping quite a bit. So I'm going to take this RC Cosmetics Angled Flat Top Kabuki Precision brush, and I think this is part of the Matte Black Precision collection. I only recommend getting the big RC Cosmetics and the Precision RC Cosmetics brushes in the matte black style. I've tried a couple others that have the gold and silver ferrules, and for some reason the bristles are different, but these are really good. And I just like using a brush to blend out my blemish concealer to help keep the coverage. When I use the sponge, it shears it out of it, which is of course not what I'm wanting. I love this concealer. I'm so happy that I bought this because it gives great coverage. It has a really nice satin finish, and it's a great shade match for me. Then I'm gonna take my Real Techniques sponge, blend out the center of my face. The center of my face never looks too light, and I use Fair on its own, but under my eyes have just been crazy. But I think that has to do with the powder too that I was using. Their Dermablend powder is what I was using last month and the month before, and that's a really brightening under eye powder, which I like, but I think with this too light concealer, it just looked too light. So taking the pointed end here, I'm just gonna press this in under my eyes. Another item from my fall project pan would be the CoverFx Perfect Setting Powder in the light shade. It was a little sample size, so I just put it in this Dermablend jar, and I cannot believe how long this has been lasting me, using it every single day. If you guys watched the intro, you saw how incredibly tiny the jar was. So I'm just blending out any little creases. Then taking the powder on my mini eraser sponge from Real Techniques, I'm just going to set it, and this does mattify quite a bit as well. It looks really smooth. It darkens my concealer a tiny bit, but not as bad as the Laura Mercier powder, but this feels incredibly tight under my eyes right when I first apply it, but then it settles into my skin fine. But that's kind of weird because I haven't really had that experience with other powders, even though I apply just as much as I usually do. But that's the difference between set and not set. As you can see, it's not quite as bright, which is good for me. So moving on to face powder, I'm doing a pretty crazy combination right now because I'm trying to use up a couple products, and really because I've just been wearing makeup for filming, I've been wearing some of my least favorite items that I'm trying to get through. So I am going to be using my NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat powders. I do love these. I'm just not into pressed powder for setting my face anymore. And I am first going to take the shade Ivory. And this looks a little too light, but for some reason when I pack it on top of this foundation, it darkens, which is weird because I haven't really had that experience when using this with other foundations, if I can remember, but of course it has been a while. And I'm just packing it onto my skin with my RC Cosmetics Angled Flat Top Kabuki brush. I just used the Precision, and this is the full-size one. This is part of their matte black highlight and contour set. The names of their sets are kind of odd, but I absolutely love this brush for packing on powder. It'd be good for using products just as a powder foundation as well. So I'm just going to press this all over my skin so you can just see the difference with no powder and powder. Like, even though this is a pretty light powder, it seems like my face looks a little darker. And then I'm going to take the shade number 2 Nude, which I've recently repressed, and I'm going to apply that all over with the Real Techniques powder brush, just trying to use this one as well. And I cannot pack this one on or it will definitely look too dark. And I'm going to be going in with the ColourPop No Filter Loose Setting Powder in the translucent shade. I don't like this powder, but I think it will help lighten the look a bit. I'm still looking pretty light up here, but for some reason down here is looking really, really dark to me. And recently, for some reason, I've really been enjoying applying it with the Sigma F23 Soft Angled Contour Brush. Just picking up some like this and dusting it all over. Again, this is another item I think I want to try to use up next year because I don't love it very much, so I'm trying to get a jump start on that. And I'm probably just going to use this loose powder until I finish the pressed ones. Now, I do have to admit that this combination does look a little heavy and cakey on my skin, but again, since I've just been doing my makeup for videos mostly, it doesn't bother me because people aren't really seeing it in person, but this is not my go-to face combination or anything like that. I'm just trying to use some items up, and I don't hate the way it looks. So we're finally done with complexion products. Moving on to cheek products, I have the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil Bronzer, which is the lighter, more warm tone one, which is my go-to for fall, and I'm applying it with the e.l.f. stippling brush. If you have fair skin and you're wanting to apply bronzer without it being too intense, try applying it with a stippling brush. That works so well for me. Just gives me the right amount of product and blends it out nicely. Then to contour, I'll be using something from my project pan. This is the Balm's Bahama Mama Bronzer. I just had a little baby sample size that I repressed into this Pixi compact. Can you believe I've been using this for a month? I haven't hit pan or anything. I've been wearing it down, but it wasn't that thick to begin with. I think I just pressed it a little too hard, but I'm getting a lot of pigment at the same time. I don't know. I thought this was gonna be a really easy product, but now I'm thinking it's gonna take me to the end of the project, which is totally fine. And it's exciting to use up a cheek product in some capacity. I don't usually put cheek products in my project pan because I know how hard they are to work through. And I do like switching it up. So I forgot to tell you what brush I was using. This is a Sigma F05 small contour brush. I use this every single day. I've been using this literally for years and years, and it does a great job of applying and blending out contour. For blush, I'm just going with something really neutral and peachy, so I'll be using MAC's Cantaloupe, which is either a satin or matte finish technically, but it looks very matte on the cheeks. I'm applying it with my Sigma F15 Duo Fiber Blush Brush, which is my favorite brush for really pigmented blushes. It just helps apply the perfect amount. And just small circular motions dusting that on the back of my cheeks. For a highlighter, my go-to for fall is the Balm Mary Luminizer, the most perfect golden champagne shade on my skin tone. This formula just melts into the skin. I'm going to apply it with the Morphe M501 brush, just picking up a decent amount here and applying it to the top of my cheekbones. As I've said before, because I'm oily, I only apply highlighter in these areas. And then we're going to finish off with both of the Pixi sprays. So I start with the Makeup Fixing Mist. Then I go over top of that with a little of the Glow Mist, and this one has some oil in it, so I always make sure to shake this one, but I just shake all my setting sprays. That is all for the face. I know that was a ton, but I'm gonna zoom you guys in for brows and eyes. So for brows, I've been doing this certain routine, all catered around the item in my project pan, which is the Benefit Ka-Brow Pomade in the shade number 1. This is just our little sample shade, and the sample packaging is really hard to get all of the product, and it's really tiny holes, so I have to use the brush that comes with it, which I'm glad it comes with a brush, and I have to dig around in here, try to scrape some off on the applicator, put it on the back of my hand, and then I apply it to my brow on the back of my hand like that, and then just coat the brush. So I'm going to use this to fill in most of my brow, so I'm just going to line it first. Like that, then take a little more of the product to work it through the center of my brows. So that brow product does most of the work, but I don't use it to draw on the front because I want that area to be a little bit more precise. So I use my NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe for that. And then I do usually have to go back and forth between my brows to get them even. So if they aren't even in this video, I apologize. I know my eyebrows look really intense. They always do, but with pomade it's even more intense, even though this is a really nice light shade. And then usually what I do is take my little brow comb, put it on the side of my nose, and see where that lines up. So as you can see, I can go a little further in based on that measurement. And then sometimes I have to go back in with concealer and whatnot to help clean them up and make them even, but I'm gonna leave it like that. Then I go through with my little comb to make sure I don't have any clumps in here and to get the brow hairs going a good way. And I do go in with a spoolie before I apply any product. And then I finish off the brow with the Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. I have the blonde shade, and this just helps to give a little bit of thickness and emphasize the brow hair. So I just work it through the entire brow, and I'm not pressing down too hard because I don't need all the extra product and color, but the fibers do help. So that is a naked brow versus a completed brow, and then I'm going to do this one off camera and try to get them to match. So as you can see, I've already done this eye off camera, starting out with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I am just going to apply this from lash line to brow bone. And I'm taking Matte Malloy from the Balm Meet Matte Nude palette. This is my Halloween project pan. I'm going to use this to set the primer under my brow bone with the Wet n Wild large shader brush. And this is going to look really crazy at first, but I promise it works out. So I'm just packing this under my brow and then just blending over it a bit. feathering it down towards the crease. Then taking the ColourPop single in full zip, I just have this tiny bit up here that I've been saving for this video as well, and I am going to apply this in my crease to set the primer there with the Wet n Wild crease brush or blending brush. I can never remember what it's called. So I'm just trying to get some product on the brush there. Then I'll be taking Burnt Orange from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. This is also a single. I'm going to apply that as my transition color using the Morphe R38 brush. So just picking up a small amount of this because this is a really pigmented shade. Just windshield wiper motions back and forth in my crease and then small circular motions to blend it out. Then taking the Balm Batter Up Shadow Stick in the shade Curve Ball, which is like a light copper color, I'm going to apply this all over my lid as a base. Then I'm going to be going over top with a Super Shock shadow. And normally I don't need a cream base with a Super Shock, but I do for the ones that are more dried out because they are pretty flaky. So the one that I'm using is in my project pan. This is in the shade Sequin, my favorite Super Shock of all time, a beautiful rose gold copper color. I have hit pan right in the center, but it got covered up a little bit, and I'm going to be applying it with a sponge tip applicator. I've told you guys several times that is the best way for me to use ones that are more dried up. I apply one layer with a sponge tip applicator to help get the precision on my lid. After I finish all the rest of my shadows, before liner, I'll go back in with my finger to help intensify the pigment and the metallic sheen. So I just picked up some of that on the applicator, and I'm just going to drag it all over that cream base. And I do usually get a good bit of fallout here, so just dusting that away. For my crease color, I'll be taking Makeup Geek Frappe and applying it with the Morphe R39 brush. I'm just like wondering when the heck am I gonna hit pan on this? I have such a big dip. So starting in the outer part of my crease, working towards the inner, blending back and forth here. For the outer corner, I'm taking the Anastasia Master Palette by Mario, this Burnt Orange Matte Isabelle shade, and I'm applying it with my MAC 286 Duo Fiber Tapered Blending Brush. So focusing this on the outer corner and then working it through the crease, picking up a little bit more to add some definition. And then just to help the colors fade a little easier, I'm going to go back in with Burnt Orange on the MAC brush and apply that on the inner part of the crease. Then I'm going to take Sequin on my finger, and it's hard when you've got long nails, but luckily I have one broken fingernail, so I can apply this on my lid. And now it's just so much more intense. Taking this ColourPop blending brush, they don't make anymore, unfortunately. I'm going to go back in with the matte cream full zip to clean up under my eye. I take it right below my eye in case I got any of my shadow down there, and then taking some more of that at an angle here to clean up my outer corner to help sharpen my look. So that is all for shadow. I'm not going to do any liner, and I'm going to apply my mascara off camera and be back to show you the lip color. So these are the eyes all complete. For mascara, I applied one coat of Urban Decay Perversion and then one coat of the Tarte Tartiste mascara. So if you guys watch my intro, you know I have quite a few lip products in this project pan. Unfortunately, the liquid lipstick dried out completely. I'll talk more about it in my update. So I'm trying this combination for the first time right now because I want to try to use this lip liner still, but I was planning on using it with that liquid lipstick, and I've mostly just been using this lipstick combo, so we'll see how it looks today. So the lip liner I'm using is the Tarte Tartiste in the shade Latergram, which is more of a terracotta rosy shade. And this is kind of a dry, thick formula, so I'm not using it to fill in my lips. I'm just going to use it to line them, which hopefully won't look weird with my very nude lipsticks. and a little chunk broke off, which happens with these because they're so dry. That's the liner all done. Going in with my NARS Audacious lipstick in the shade Raquel. This is a really beautiful nude lipstick that has a little bit of pink, but it's mostly peachy on me. But compared to the other one, it is a little bit more pink. And this is a really nice satin formula, and it's pretty long wearing. Very comfortable. Okay, that works. I'm happy to see that. The lip liner works with it so far. Then I'm going to top that off with the Too Faced Le Creme lipstick in Country Star, which was limited edition, but I think these lipsticks have been discontinued in general. And this is a lot more peachy and looks kind of odd on its own. In combination with the NARS, I really like it. And this lipstick is really hydrating, and it has a really nice glossy shine to it, so it almost looks like I have a gloss on right now. Yay, I'm happy that combo works out so I can still get some good use out of that lip liner. So guys, this is my final look using all of the items for my current fall project pan. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I would love to know in the comments if you guys have any of these products, what your thoughts are on them, and if you guys are currently doing any projects. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.